On May 31st, 2025, the Cumberland Knox Railroad ran their first train over the dormant Rockland Branch after almost a year of no rail service. The Cumberland Knox was started by Maine Switching Services, a rail company that has operated in Maine since 2020, providing switching services to a couple of paper mills. They have now expanded by taking over the Rockland Branch that runs 56 miles from Brunswick to Rockland, Maine, and they might not stop there. More on that later. The first train departed Brunswick with 12 loaded cars bound for Dragon cement. Loaded with cement products, the cars would be unloaded and distributed from Dragon's Thomaston, Maine facility. 4 of the cars were loaded with Portland Type 3 cement, and the other 8 were loaded with blast furnace slag, a byproduct of the steelmaking process added to cement to give it additional strength. The Rockland location was set to close after manufacturing ended, but held on as a distribution center that would sell foreign cement. The cement would come in on a ship and get trucked to Thomaston before being distributed to customers, all without the use of rail the facility once relied on. Just months later, Heidelberg Materials purchased Dragon and decided to change up the operation. They wouldn't continue to sell the foreign product, nor would they restart the manufacturing of domestic product here. They actually decided to start shipping material up from Pennsylvania by rail. This would require the use of rail inbound rather than loads outbound to interchange or the cement shuttle to the barge as was done historically. This created an issue on the first run as it was raining and the long GP9 couldn't handle the whole train on hills. For those that don't know, rain can make a locomotive slip, lose traction, and stall. To get around this issue, they doubled the hill. This means they cut the train in half, got over the hill, placed the first half of the train in a siding, then came back for the rest. The siding was all the way out in Waldoboro, so the trip to move 12 cars took all day. Then they eventually made the delivery to Dragon itself the next day. Since then, the railroad has brought in another locomotive to help out, so hopefully this issue doesn't come up again. With the locomotive came 15 more loaded railcars, so there has been some more traffic handled since I filmed the first train at the end of May. They also want to start up an excursion operation. Other than a brief use of a bud car by Midcoast in 2023, there hasn't been passenger excursions on the line since Maine Eastern closed in 2015. Between Maine Eastern and Midcoast, it was freight only under the Central Maine and Quebec, and later Canadian Pacific, who didn't seem to want to even run the line for freight. Details on this planned excursion train are limited, but there are a number of stations they can use, like the brick structures at Rockland and Bath. Midcoast had proposed operating a feeder service to Amtrak using a leased RDC, so perhaps something of the like could be operated if desired. I guess time will tell what will come of these planned passenger runs. In addition to the Rockland Branch, Maine Switching Services would like to operate the lower road from Brunswick to Augusta. They see freight potential, excursion trains, and rail bikes in the line's future, but a trail might take the line's place instead. Last used in May of 2008, the line is in decent shape and can be brought back into use with some minimal work for rail bikes. Full-size trains would require more work, including the replacement of an undergrade bridge, among other things like ties, ballast, crossing work, and more. I've already done 2 other videos on this line, and those can be found by clicking the links in the video description. Back to the Rockland Branch, there's been talk about Amtrak's Downeaster being extended all the way to Rockland. Amtrak first started running to Maine in 2001 as a Boston to Portland run, restoring service on this route for the first time since 1965. Later, the train was extended to Brunswick in 2012. A seasonal pilot service almost extended the train to Rockland a few years ago, but it never happened. Midcoast looked to run a shuttle train from Brunswick to Rockland, but that didn't happen either. There's still interest in getting service all the way up to Rockland, but it seems as though these plans have been tabled. Given that the new operator is just a short line, they might not be able to support the operation of Amtrak like CSX does on the rest of the Downeaster's route through Maine. There's also been interest to push it further north to Augusta and Bangor, but they might pick that route through Lewiston instead, if it happens at all. We'll have to wait some more to see what happens, but I'm thankful for even CKRR's interest in passenger excursions. That's all for now, but if you're interested in seeing more of the action, check out the videos in the end screen and the ones linked in the video description. There you'll find the first run of the Cumberland and Knox, the June 1st run of the loads from Rockland to Dragon, as well as 2 videos on the lower road that Maine Switching Services would like to reopen. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future updates.